Hello, hello. Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Hey, everyone.
My name, as always, is Brandon Doge.
And today I'm Woody.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yep.
It's Sunday, February 26, 2017.
Episode number 52.
It's true.
And today is 364 days since our last show.
Yep. Our last show was on February 27, or the first show, rather, was February 27, 2016, which is actually, that's 365 days ago because we had a leap year.
Oh.
So, yeah, sweet. We're pretty happy to have been rocking it for a year.
Yeah, very cool. I wanted to start it off with just a very brief correction based on last week's show. We had stated that the developer Stay Secure had released a coin called Neva, but we were mistaking it with a coin called Taj. It's very hard to keep coin developers' children's names straight, apparently.
Yeah, they like to make coins for their kids. In this case, Stay Secure's is Taj. I'm not sure who makes Neva coin then, but...
yeah. It was another person on Twitter, though. They were very nice and tweeted at us or something.
Oh, sweet. Right on.
So, as usual, the show is brought to you by Cryptopia. That's at cryptopia.co.nz.
Cryptopia, great altcoin exchange and platform. A ton of great features. As everybody knows, they've really got a lot of new volume right now. A lot of attention, a lot of fun stuff going down at Cryptopia.
That's right. It's your one-stop crypto shop, and it has the best troll box out there. I learned this week. I hadn't really participated much in there, but they've got really great tipping aspects and raining and like this karma button and a bunch of million emoticons. So I'm hoping that the blockchain dynamics can be in there raining on people more often.
Cryptopia's deep, man. Like, you start going through those menus and you just keep finding more stuff. It's pretty cool. They've really put a lot of work into it. And yeah, we're really happy to be able to work with them.
So leave us a message over on the forum and you can get dots.
Yeah, we're doing a new way of distributing the dot prize for the forum posts. We had a ton of posts this week, which is great. We're really happy about it. So we're going to kind of re-engineer the dot giveaway for that, where like anybody who posts will get a certain amount of dots.
A chunk of a jackpot every week.
Yeah, we'll have 10,000 dots a week, basically, that can go to the forum posts. The maximum for one post will be 5,000, so if like only one person posts, then we'll just roll the other dots into our jackpot thing.
Maybe we should just say nobody can get more than 50% of the dots.
Yeah, there we go.
And then...
lots of dots, though.
Yeah, there'll be lots of dots given away, so go over to the forum and leave us a message. And then also we're going to be giving away dots on the show still to live listeners, and today the jackpot's up to 20,000, so that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not a bad chunk of change at all, man. And all you got to do is answer an easy question, so be on the lookout for the dot giveaway later in the show.
Should we just get started then?
Yeah, let's do it. We're going to start off with a very special look this week at the new crop of Cryptopia weed coins.
Yeah, it was hard to not notice that there were 3 weed coins at the top of Cryptopia's volume chart this week.
Yeah, we were basically like, which coin should we talk about this week? KUSH coin, cannabis industry, or marijuana coin? We're like, well, they're kind of all related, so we figured we'll just do a kind of a big roundup.
That's right. And then we started looking at KUSH coin, and boy, were we surprised to see that it was a no pre-mine coin.
Yeah, we were a little bit shocked. This coin started in January 2017, came out with no pre-mine and a short proof of work. Basically, as a miner, this is like every green flag that you could ever dream of in a coin.
And somehow we cannot find where we talked about it.
Yeah, either we missed it or we forgot about it or something, but it somehow got off our radar, which is... It's sad because that's one of our like specialties or whatever, is we're always trying to keep track of all these new coins. So it's frustrating when you see one that like is like the perfect coin that you've been waiting for and then you missed it.
But it was kind of part of this pump cycle this week or whatever, and beyond its technical specifications, which are appealing to us as a miner, nowadays it's kind of just in that stage of a pump coin. Like, Potcoin did really good over a period of 2 years, but
right.
This one's 3 months old, so...
Yeah, it's chilling at like 200,000 market cap right now, which is really strong, and once again goes to show that people can pull off pumps and stuff just on Cryptopia now, which is a new development.
Yeah, Definitely, and that's kind of what part of this segment is about, because also simultaneously you're seeing cannabis industry coin going up a bunch.
Right. Now, this is an older coin, and it's one that I also didn't get in on because of probably the 3% pre-mine.
Yep. It's different, definitely, in the sense that we would have noticed this pre-mine right away. For some reason, we did talk about this coin.
Yeah, we did catch this one. This one's been on people's radars for a few months now.
Yeah, and it actually has done fairly well in a longer market sense, I would say, than KUSH at this point. It's an older coin. So
yeah,
to catch a pump at that later stage is a little nicer.
Yeah, usually it's more meaningful and will have longer legs at the very least. Cannabis industry coin distinguishes itself by being a Cryptonite coin. So they kind of can ride the hype train from Monero and play the anonymity angle probably better than any of these other coins can. I really don't know much about the code base behind KUSH. Like, I'm not sure what it's based off of. That often, it can be surprisingly important.
Yeah, we've seen interesting, I want to call them anomalies right now. I think BitBeans is one, and maybe banana bits to a certain extent, like coins that just have a random little extra part in them that pushes them to a certain point.
Random new future.
Yeah.
That's kind of especially in 2015, that was a really hot pretense for like a pump and dump coin. Is you'll put in like one new future. Like Banana Bits had the one-click masternode. That was their whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the other one. What was the other coin?
BitBean was the one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, BitBeans was the first coin to use HiPos. Man, that was huge. So that was a huge change.
And then the third marijuana coin that was pumping this week is called Marijuana Coin.
Right.
On Cryptopia. And that one, it was an ICO, which is way out of our realm at the moment.
Yeah, it's funny, but we're seeing all three corners of like the current crypto game right now. You've got cannabis industry coin with the pre-mine route, KUSH coin with like kind of the no pre-mine miners coin route, and marijuana coin with the straight up ICO.
Yeah, I find that super intriguing because if nothing else, it shows that you can't stick to one particular type of coin as a trader and expect anything in particular, I guess.
Yeah, you have to realize that there's opportunity everywhere, and it's okay to draw a line or specialize in one thing. But it's easy to become really elitist and be like, oh, my way is the only way to play the game. Yeah. And it's obvious that there's so much out there that you can mess with.
Yeah, maintaining an open mind is difficult, or at least, not only is it difficult, but maybe it can be beneficial sometimes.
Yeah,
because I didn't see any. I should almost at this point be used to cannabis coins pumping around this time of year.
Right.
Apparently, I'm not.
Yeah, it just keeps happening. This is like the trend that never ends. Like most crypto trends have like an obvious charted time. You can see. You look back in history when the proof of work, proof of stake, like kind of black coin clones were big. You can see when the dark coin coins were big. You can see when the master node coins were big. The one thing that's been a constant throughout the whole time period is there've always been weed coins in the background doing well. It's like the one trend that never dies.
That does almost seem to be the case. It'd be great if one actually could catch on. I think I've talked about in the news, they've actually had a little bit of success in regards to at least being treated equally with other cryptocurrencies.
Right. Yep.
Which I guess maybe they had potential to not be.
Yeah, the use case still remains a little bit dubious, but as always, they still seem to be getting a lot of attention. Another exciting thing for me, at least, just because of the kind of coins that I like, is to see that of all these three coins, KUSH coin is currently doing the best.
No pre-mine, baby.
That no pre-mine, baby. Just like what you said, man. Like, it just says a lot. It tells you where the money's at right now, essentially.
Oh, and I just feel like it's always going to be there because miners are the core of proof of work coins.
I would have disagreed with you maybe around 2014. I would have been like, nah, man, mining's going to die. It's too expensive. Proof of stake is the future or whatever. But we keep seeing the market returning to mining.
Yeah.
As a way, it's definitely kind of established itself as a great way of distributing coins. But now we're just seeing kind of the long proof of work formula become more popular in general.
Let's move on to a little bit of more broad news here.
Yep, that does it for our look at Cryptopia's weed coin frenzy. And we're going to jump into the news.
Might as well start with that Bitcoin at an all-time high.
Yeah, this really... No, we're all excited about the Bitcoin news, obviously. Everyone's celebrating, Twitter going nuts.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to put in... I've told people, maybe in passing, different people that I meet,
right.
people are increasingly more interested in Bitcoin as I walk around, but they're like, it's at an all-time high. Like, oh, what's it at? Oh, $1,100 or so. And they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Like, really? Well, how do you convert it into US dollars? Is that a thing?
Right.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy.
It's not bad.
Interesting place there.
Yeah, fun thing for me, I think, and for a lot of people, is every time that Bitcoin gets close to a new all-time high, you start seeing like a lot more news articles and stuff about it. And they're always, like the news always is, it's always like halfway between the truth, halfway just kind of made up, usually drawing a narrative or something. And so there's always, these crazy news articles coming out. Some are saying it's the next big thing. Some will say it's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see it all.
Yeah.
There was one that really got people riled up this week. I don't remember which news place published it, but just some lady saying that, Bitcoin was invented by drug dealers and it's just for scammers, basically.
Nice.
And then everybody on Twitter jumps down her throat, which is the next best part, because it's like 8 million Bitcoin people are trying to argue with one person on Twitter, all from a different angle, and it's like, I don't, to that person, it's just going to look like gibberish anyway. But
right. Yeah, I think it's going to be that way for a bit still. It's definitely fun to watch some of the more mainstream economists getting upset about it and then being tweeted at by people that the blockchain dynamics follows. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, exactly. People we know are tweeting at mainstream financial news people and be like, no.
I like that a lot.
It's funny.
How about a little more specifics on Zcoin's bug from last week? They were kind of trying to clear the air regarding the Zcoin incident last week that we started to report on.
Yeah, right. As most people know by now, there was an exploit to Zerocoin that resulted in like 400 Bitcoins worth of essentially made-up Zero coins being dumped, which is always a bummer. And so they've released kind of a big report explaining their side of the story.
Yeah. I think probably the most important part is the moving forward portion. And they do intend to do so.
Well, what's the plan?
That's the part where I'm not really too clear, unfortunately. Aside from fixing the bug now, I think last week you mentioned that the market absorbed it pretty well.
Right.
But, it doesn't seem like they're taking, for example, necessarily the path of Ethereum as far as doing a fork. So,
well, they're not going to try and reverse the chain, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is a different situation. These coins are already sold, which means that somebody already paid for them. So if they can't reverse the chain without reversing, really screwing somebody else over who bought those coins. And it's going to be Bittrex that would have to eat the loss in that case, and that usually isn't how it ends up playing out. Ethereum was able to go for the fork because the hacker had to wait a month to get the coins, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm just surprised that things rolled out this way, because I can think back to a more turbulent, I guess, altcoin time. Coins like Ghost Coin that Bittrex listed that had actually, rather than a seemingly mistake in the Zcoin part, they had more like a malicious aspect to them.
Yeah, exploits
that generated a bunch of coins. Bittrex's reaction was quite a bit different in that case. They demanded that essentially the community pull together the amount of Ghost Coin necessary to recompensate the people that had bought coins during that period.
I don't remember it having gone down that way. That's interesting.
It really did, yeah. And I always found that to be at the time I thought it was really interesting that that's what they demanded in order to continue trading. And now when I see like these types of events, I guess the difference in those types of responses is notable to me.
Yeah, this is a bit more. It's like it's like things are more mature, but there's also just as much of an anything goes type attitude as there used to be in some of these markets. And yeah, like you said, Bittrex just, in this case, are just kind of letting it ride. And apparently the whole chain is just kind of going to move forward. It's a little interesting. I did like this post from these guys. It's actually got a really kind of nice, concise explanation of how the whole Zerocoin thing works, which is cool, so I'd recommend checking that out. It's on zcoin.io is where this whole blog post is. But it gives a nice technical explanation of the basics of the protocol and where the mistake was, which is cool. And I think it is a good move on their part.
Very nice.
But yeah, we'll see what happens to the coin itself. It's going to clearly affect people's confidence. And one thing about these blockchains, like you said, there's no way to know how many exploits there could be. And in many ways, it's the only thing that will kind of prove the security of a chain is time.
Definitely. And
anytime something like this happens, the amount of time that people are going to need to really trust the chain is going to go up a huge amount.
Right.
So I think people will be able to trust the Zcoin chain again. But you're definitely going to see a lot of weariness, at least like within the next 6 months or so.
That makes sense.
But on the other hand, crypto people have hilariously short memories, so...
Yeah, so see you next week.
Yeah, exactly. They'll do a re-announcement next week, and nobody will even remember that any of this happened because everyone's in 10 different coins at once anyway.
So up next on the news list, we got a little some sort of controversy with the Qtum.
Yeah, Qtum, this big ICO that's been floating around. So the developer was revealed this week to have been the developer for some other ICO that apparently turned to crap. I think it was BitBay.
Okay.
And so I guess the guy admitted to it. He's like, "Yeah, I'm the guy from BitBay. It was a disaster." But he kind of tried to justify it or say that it wasn't his fault. He gave the money back or whatever percentage of the money was left or something like that. But it casts a shadow on the project, I think, for sure. We're always, we try not to cover ICOs too much, especially in their development phase or in the ICO phase. But
right.
It's definitely not the kind of publicity that these guys would have wanted.
Yeah. It's really weird. I don't know a lot about this coin. I'm pretty sure the only thing that I think I remember is seeing a tweet of them in a bathtub all together.
I don't recall seeing that. That's funny though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been getting a lot of hype. I've just been seeing it people are talking about all the crypto celebrities or whatever are supposed to be into it. Apparently they're allegedly in cahoots with OKCoin and all these other kind of big names. And I got to take it with a grain of salt. I guess I'll just, my standard on this kind of stuff is wait for the coin itself to come out. And if it's good, then you'll have plenty of time to figure out whether you want to trade it or not.
Yeah, that's kind of become our ICO philosophy.
But yeah, so that was the Qtum controversy with the BitBay developer.
Up next, we're looking at Storj Coin.
All right, we got Storj Coin in the news this week.
They had a little news because they managed to raise a bunch of money, I guess.
Yeah, so I really wasn't too familiar with the history of Storj Coin. It's another coin that I didn't really pay much attention to when it launched.
Yeah, it was a little hard to notice in the midst of things at the time. I think this one was after Burst, right?
Yeah, definitely. Burst is different. Burst is where you get coins by proving that you have extra capacity. And Storj and Coin are about getting coins for renting out capacity, if that makes sense. And there tend to be, at least in the case of Coin, it's secured by its own proof of work system. So it's secured by proof of work, and then people pay you if you have storage space. You can get paid in Coin to let people store stuff there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Storj has the same general business model or kind of blockchain goal as that, so a little different than Burst.
Nice.
But I do think they both came after. But as far as Storj Labs goes, this is the other one. STORJ is the ticker. They raised $3 million apparently from a variety of different venture capital funds. And as you might expect, their price went way up right after. But it kind of rebounded mostly, honestly. Shot up, started at 10,000, Shot up to 20,000. Now it's back down, chilling at like 13.7. So, as you might expect for kind of a big news event like that, it definitely saw a spike, but we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah. In other news, Atomic Coin is releasing an online staking wallet.
Yeah, Atomic Coin is a coin that, kind of another coin that has been flying under our radar that we've seen resurfacing.
Yeah, probably the last time we talked about it together was like show 40, it was one of the 10-week reviews, and it wasn't 50, so
yeah, we saw
it's either 40 or 30.
Yeah, we just noticed that we'd forgotten about it, and it had a high market cap. But
yeah,
it's another like no pre-mine coin that came out. This is the first actual service that they've released to support the blockchain. It is a online staking wallet. So you can store your coins there and it will stake them as well.
Interesting. I'm always... I'm
a little leery of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have so few coins in order to need to pool them to stake usually on any chain I've been on.
I think it's more of an ease of use thing. It's not like supposed to be better.
People just really don't want to download the wallet.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is, that's understandable.
No, that's fine. I mean, I guess I get that.
Wallets are annoying.
Yeah, they're annoying. They're also really fun.
That's true.
Well, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that.
Yeah, and you can learn a lot. You can learn a lot about a coin through its wallet too. Like honestly, if I was a more diligent researcher about the coins that I mess with, I would download the wallet just to see what the product is. Like, what are they actually offering me here? You know?
Yeah.
There was a trend for a while in like 2015 to have really cool wallets. Where you'd have the fanciest wallet or whatever. We all remember StackCoin, that great IPO that was just based around the wallet.
That was just a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, that was pictures of wallet, and then the guy took all the money and ran. But so yeah, anyway, we're talking about Atomic Coin now,
right? Which has offering a staking wallet online.
Yes,
and that's not a new thing at all. I've seen people offer those types of services, but I mean, I guess the part that I don't like about it that I was trying to really describe is just the trust that I have to have in the person running the service. It's nice that when I run a wallet on my own computer, at least I have no one to blame for myself when I corrupt the wallet and delete it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of thing that I would trust with. If I wanted to, for whatever reason, keep like, $20 worth of Atomic Coin around, then I would probably be cool in using this. But if I had like a big bag, I would not be.
And then there was some type of CloudBleed bug this week.
Yeah,
change your passwords is the lesson there, I guess.
Yeah, it apparently affected a really small number of outgoing requests or whatever, but apparently there was a bug where people might have been able to see your passwords. It's on a ton of sites, so yeah, change your passwords.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah, you got to keep it secure,
And a reminder for you is to just send us some news. We'll put it on the show, most likely.
Yeah, we really like to get altcoin type news, just like shit that's going on with kind of chains that have already been out for a while. So if you know of anything happening with your favorite altcoin or whatever, hit us up and we'll talk about it.
BlockchainDynamics.net.
That's true. So next we're going to jump into our markets segment. Love the markets. Been a fun week in the markets, obviously.
Yeah, definitely very cool. In addition to Bitcoin going at an all-time high, Dash is up.
Yeah, Dash really stole the show this week, honestly, as far as altcoins go. There was a lot of blood in the water, as always, when Bitcoin is up. A lot of coins going down. Kind of a lot of melancholy amongst alt traders, which I get. I get it.
At least on like a 24-hour period.
Yeah, exactly. Again, going back to the very short memory of altcoin traders, it's like they're down for a week, and you're just like, no. I think really what gets people when they're holding alts, and I can relate to this personally because I kind of held some stupid high cap alts when I shouldn't have been during the Bitcoin spike. And so you get this feeling where you're like, you missed the boat, you're like, oh shit, it's over. This was the pump. This was my chance to just be holding Bitcoin and do good. And then you're like, no, I'm stuck with these alts. And then it comes down to the question of, do you want to try to ride it out, which is usually a disaster. There's like there's no limit to how much you can lose trying to play that way. And it kind of puts everybody in a stressful position, but it's great.
Definitely. I've been enjoying it. In addition to Dash being way up and having the top volume, The combined alt market cap is at an all-time high this week at $2.96 billion.
Yeah, this was a big breakthrough. We've been teasing this potential event for a long time, and we're really excited to see it come in this week.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see alts finally pushing against that again. I mean, it seems like every other week now.
Right, exactly. It's been tantalizingly close for so long.
Yeah.
There was that spike in Ethereum like last year that had set the threshold at I think it was 2.85 billion was the peak. It's kind of hard to measure this because depending on what time frame you use on CoinMarketCap, their smoothing will give you a different estimate for what the high total was or whatever. But if you do, I've been going off the 1 year. And if you look at that, it was 2.85 billion was the peak when Ethereum DAO frenzy was at its highest. And then we just crossed that this week, chilling at 2.96 billion, which is crazy.
Very cool.
And that was just a spike, and this has been a really stable climb. Obviously, it's heavily correlated to the positive effect that Bitcoin has on the altcoin market caps, but
yeah,
it'll be cool to see where we go from here. It's hard to imagine there being having as big a year this year as we did last year. That's just hard for me to imagine because that's so much more money, and it's already at such a high point. But
yeah, what is it? February?
Yeah, exactly. But if there's one thing I've learned in crypto, it's that that anything can happen.
Yeah, we still really do believe that. It seems like my expectations continue to be blown out of the water.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people were hoping for a lot more with this Bitcoin all-time high break, right? It broke the all-time high, exceeded it by $10 for a few hours, and then now it's back down at 11. What are we at right now? 1160 or something.
Right.
And so honestly, I'm happy about it. I guess my goal as kind of an altcoin trader has always been to use altcoins to stack up Bitcoins and be able to keep a nice little kind of basket of altcoins as well, I guess. I just want all the coins. So for me, I like sideways, I just like having time to build up those bags.
Yeah.
And when it does pump, it kind of feels like it's over. Shit, this is it.
Yeah.
It's remember when we first got into mining and we were just mining Doge and we're we did it. We're mining a coin before it pumps, and then Doge pumped a week after we started mining. We're crap. Because you're happy that the Doge that you mined has pumped, but then you're well, that was it. If I had had another month or whatever, I would have made way more.
Yeah, I mean, I'd only bought one graphics card by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah, I'm happy that it's pumping, but I'm even happier that it didn't just blow out the all-time high. I'm kind of happy that it's chilling at 1160 and really hoping for some sideways.
Yeah. I was I really don't trade Bitcoin for USD much, so I'm always looking for a gigantic spike to short it maybe.
Right.
And so I was even looking as high as if it'll spike all the way up to maybe 1,500 or something absurd like that, then I'll know that I can just sell some and buy it back lower.
Right, exactly.
But when it's just doing this kind of dance, then I don't have a way to trade in there very safely.
Yeah, I agree. Also surprising this week is that Ethereum is up 12%. We've been seeing usually, and kind of the idiom is that if Bitcoin's going up, this other shit's all going to dump. That was mostly the case this week. The majority of altcoins did go down relative to Bitcoin and even relative to USD. But Ethereum had another really good week, up 11.7%, chilling at 1425.
All right.
So they're definitely carrying the altcoin markets right now. Ethereum Classic, not so much. Not looking good right now.
Interesting.
There was so much hype around the Ethereum Classic Fund or whatever that guy came up with, and then allegedly he had to go quiet because of essentially he can't, shill this thing that his fund or whatever on Twitter. I don't know what the rules are, but
right.
It just sounds an awful lot like a pump and dump at this point. Just all the usual excuses and stuff that nobody likes to hear.
So is it on the pump or the dump? Because it's hard to tell with that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so much more volatile than Ethereum too that it's impossible to say what it's going to do. but it's looking bad right now. Way less than 10% of the value of Ethereum.
I still think as long as they're able to implement any significant changes that Ethereum implements, they'll be fine.
Right.
They'll have everything Ethereum will have, but the spirit of cryptocurrency behind them.
Yeah, with the spirit of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what that's worth.
But what? So did the hacker just never take his Ethereum Classic?
Dude, I don't remember what happened there. There was the white hat hackers, remember, that took the money from the other hacker, and I do not know what the resolution was for what happened to their coins. That's a good question.
So overall, alts are up 4% with Ethereum included, and if you don't include Ethereum, they're down about 0.5%.
Right, and that's versus US dollar, of course. This is the same pattern that we've seen time and again. Bitcoin goes up, and altcoins will go up relative to the US dollar, but will usually lag behind Bitcoin. And then once Bitcoin settles down, you'll get some big kind of altcoin pumps that get triggered by that. And so we're definitely still at the point where a lot of altcoins are holding their breath, I think, and just kind of waiting for the Bitcoin market to settle out. Not really a great time to be in alts, but potentially a time to look for bargains too. It's a tough environment for traders, I think.
So what else is going on?
Yeah, what do we got in markets here? Oh, market cap's up 150 million. Let's see. We got Bitcoin dominance this week up. It's at 86.4%. That's up 0.8%. And in other news this week, Ethereum dominance is up to 43%, up 3%. So that's huge. Ethereum just it's carrying the market right now.
Those F bags might still feel heavy, but I don't know, man. It's got a big team behind it.
Yeah, it feels like it has a big upside, but I'm not good at high caps. Like, I'm really not good at knowing where the floor is on some of these high market cap coins.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way with Ethereum Classic. I kind of learned that a little bit with Stratus too. In some of these coins that I've been trying to trade a little more, like day trade a little more.
I still think you might end up right on with Zcash though.
It's true. We guessed when Zcash came out, we guessed based on really no logic or reason that it was going to be 0.01, 0.0 to 0.02 was going to be the floor. We got so close this week. I still have faith. I think it's...
Can we get there?
I don't think it's going to go below 0.01. If it did, that would be really the desperation point for people. So I guess maybe that's probably where it has to go.
Well, if it pops below that, like what's going to stop it from just catapulting?
Right,
downward? Exactly.
That means everybody's out. So yeah, I'm still holding to my original dream of 0.01, 0.02 for Zcash. But
when we're looking at like overall gainers or losers this week, on the gainer sides, Ion is up 450%, KUSH coin up 125%, BELA up 68%, and Safe Exchange up 29%.
Yeah, interesting list of winners here this week. Ion has really broken the trend for Bittrex listings lately by going up. Not what we're used to.
Yeah, how did that even happen?
Unusual. It is, of course, an ICO, so don't worry.
Yeah,
relax. It's still a normal Bittrex listing in that regard, but
yeah. KUSH coin, of course, one of the 3 marijuana coins getting pumped on Cryptopia this week, and BELA seeing
huge
big gains on top of big gains. It's like they're up 68%, but it seems like their coin's up quite a bit more than that.
Right. Yeah, they're killing it. There's no question of that. They nailed it.
And then Safe Exchange coin kind of getting some gains again. That's a coin that's had some massive fluxes from its birth.
Yeah, and most of those fluctuations have been in the down direction. So people are kind of wondering, like, when can it stop? There's a lot of interest in this coin still. It feels like a coin. It's a little bit, for me, a coin without a purpose. Like, the original idea, of course, is that it's going to be a decentralized coin on the Safe network, or decentralized exchange on the Safe network. And I think they've drifted a little bit away from that.
Yeah, I remember at one point seeing him say that they were still going to complete the project, but it was no longer going to be on the Safe network.
Right.
And then I really don't know what happened after that.
So I don't know if that's still the case, but as far as that goes, like, the Safe network, regardless of how functional it is, from a marketing standpoint, it's still a big value add. Like, anything that comes along and is pretending to be or is actually implemented on the Safe network,
yeah,
they're gonna get a premium for that. And so the other thing is that a decentralized exchange on its own is not exactly new ground at this point. We're seeing a lot of people pushing in that direction. So by separating from the safe network, they kind of have lost their edge in the marketing, I think, and might have been a reason why they were struggling for so long. But
yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely kind of something that you're leaning on, and then if that's not there anymore, you have to basically show how. You have to show more so how you're going to accomplish what's going to happen without that there.
Right, exactly, and it just makes it that much harder to deliver and stuff. So we'll see.
But here they are, up 30%.
Up 30%.
So what does that mean? I don't know.
We'll see if they can.
On the other side of the fence, some people lost some value. Pure VIDZ cooling off with a minus 44%. Creditbit down 41%. BitCrystals down 37%. And Nexium down 32%.
Yeah, that Pure VIDZ, man, that was just a good old-fashioned pump and dump, man. That's great.
Man.
Down.
Let me see if that website's still there, because I was always pretty impressed by the fact that
it was up. Yeah, that's
existed.
A good question.
Yeah.
I think people are worried that the dev has quit at this point. This is the scare point where like the dev disappears for a month and then comes back and is like, oh, my cat got into a car crash. I couldn't get on the internet.
Website's still looking great.
Nice. The website's still up. So yeah, it could just be a shakeout or something. Who the hell knows? But
yeah. Well, but like I've said since the beginning, I just don't see how you can actually run like something's. The Hollywood industry is just so notoriously litigious.
Yep. That's true.
Would hate to be ever in their crosshairs.
Yes. That's Pure VIDZ. Creditbit finally cooling off. That one was just straight up for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. 41% is a big drop. That's definitely... If I was holding Creditbit, I would probably look at that and say, yeah, I'm guessing the pump is over. But
yeah. I have not noticed that one going up or down.
Creditbit?
Yeah.
Oh man, you missed out, dude. Go to CoinMarketCap. Look at the chart, dude. It's gone way up. The developers were like asleep or dead or disappeared for a long time, and then they did the classic move of they accumulated it for a long time. I guess this isn't a classic move. This is pretty unusual. They accumulated it for a long time. They got delisted from like every exchange.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't get the coin, and then they just kind of showed back up out of the blue. Hyped up a bunch, got on a bunch of new exchanges, and then did like a new from scratch pump essentially based on that.
Wow, yeah, I can find a market cap low of like $42,000 and a high of maybe like $4 million.
Yeah, look at this. This chart's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
So you go back to the like December 30th, market cap 96,000. Today 2.8 million. They're on LiveCoin, Cryptopia.
And one of the biggest, they lost 41% this week.
Yeah, and that's while being down 41%, so that's funny.
Yeah. BitCrystals was down, and Nexium as well.
Yep, Nexium cooling off from its pump as well.
That'll bring us into our DOT giveaway.
All right, time for the DOT giveaway this week.
This is great. For people that don't know, the way that this works is we'll ask you a question, and if you would like to win the 20,000 jackpot, 20,000 DOT jackpot, you will send an answer to @ChainDynamics on Twitter with your DOT address, and if you're the first person, I'll send you the dots, basically.
Yeah, that's how it goes down, and it has to be by the end of the show, so this is for live listeners, basically.
Yeah, and if we don't get it by then we'll roll it over into the next show.
Exactly. Nobody claims it. We keep the dots stacking up. Eventually, it's going to be just a crazy amount of dots. It's going to be sweet.
And, I'm not making it too hard on you. All I want to know is what was the date that Blockchain Dynamics Episode 1 first aired?
That's right. What is the date that Blockchain Dynamics Episode 1 first aired? Just check it out in our archives. You can find it in there.
Be the first person to send it over to @ChainDynamics on Twitter and win 20,000 DOT.
Get those sweet, sweet dots.
How about our rolling review?
All right, rolling review. This is it's kind of turned into one of our favorite segments.
Yeah, it's starting to become one of my favorite segments very quickly.
Because the whole point of it is where we take some of these new projects that look interesting and we try to actually keep up with them until they get somewhere cool.
So what's at the top of the list this week? We're still keeping half an eye on LunaCoin because we don't want to just boot it right off the list.
Right. LunaCoin distinguished itself by being a no pre-mine script long proof of work coin.
It distinguished itself in that regard technically, and then also it distinguished itself by being a short-term pump and dump at the least.
Yeah, exactly. The long proof of work formula usually just goes straight down at first and then settles in. They kind of did a weird intro pump for this coin where they shot the price up way beyond what would have ever been sustainable in the long term. And then they kind of held it there for long enough to sort of make you believe it might be real. Then they dumped it, of course, as is wont to happen. And now it really seems like it has settled into what you would expect for a long proof of work, where they might actually find some equilibrium between the miners and stuff. So I would honestly expect this one to keep settling into probably a downward pattern.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of my old homie Aircoin.
Yeah, nice, Aircoin. Aircoin had that trading fund, man, that 3.5 million pre-mine.
Yeah, I guess these guys don't have that.
Yep.
So another one that we introduced to the rolling review last week is Heidecoin.
Heidecoin. It's XHD is the ticker here.
This one is unique because it's a Node.js coin.
Kind of ticks one of our biggest checkboxes, which is the ground-up rewrite. It's a totally new blockchain code base that is built in Node.js. And we, like Julie said, we were able to get it running this week. Got it synced up. I was able to get mining, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I was able to get mining for a shorter period of time. But nonetheless, I find it to be a really interesting coin because of its turtle approach.
What do you mean?
I really like coins that come slow out of the gate like this. I think we've seen some really good, promising coins do that type of move.
Really low profile right now. The developer's not trying to raise the profile. He's not making price predictions. He's not running signature campaigns. He's not doing that kind of crap. But he is releasing updates, that's what you want from a developer.
Oh, yeah, there was one this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a new version out this week, which is cool. My concern about it, it's always been my concern about it, is that it might be too light. It might be too underdeveloped. There's not a lot there. There's not a lot of meat to it right now.
Yeah.
But that said, I was actually kind of impressed with it when I actually ran it in terms of how well the wallet worked, how well the miner has worked. At least in my case, obviously you had trouble with it, so there's definitely...
And we had really similar setups. I actually think that the one difference between our machines, I think that we might get down to is the memory.
Really?
Yeah, I think mine might have way lower memory.
My miner has a lot of memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point.
But I think there's some ways to get around that. And regardless, that's one coin on our rolling review called Heidecoin. And we also want to just remind everyone about Whoop. It's a Juggalo coin, and it is coming out on Juggalo Appreciation Day sometime next month.
Yep, it's true. Still in the pre-announcement stage, but we're watching it again.
If they release the coin that they described, then at very least it will be a interesting miners coin. So a couple additions to the rolling review this week. Up at the first edition is going to be Zero from last week.
Yeah.
This one seems interesting as far as last week's launches go. It's basically a Zcash fork with a few different change parameters, and one of the most interesting ones is that it makes it harder to mine.
Yeah, they've really upped the memory hardness, which basically means you need a lot more memory on your GPU to be able to mine it.
And if you might recall, one of the main, I guess, complaints about Zcash was that it had too much memory requirements already.
Yeah, exactly. I can't mine it, for instance, with my Ethereum rig.
So people, it's essentially moving it to this point where it's like you have to create a particular type of computer, I feel like, in order to mine this coin.
But as far as what's going on, just because I can't mine it doesn't mean that it's not potentially a good opportunity.
Right.
It looks like OC Miner's on it. That's a good sign. I don't know if he has a pool up yet.
Yeah.
But for a coin like this, OC Miner is actually a pretty influential person to have in your corner. So Zero is a fork of Zcash that has different mining parameters. I think it's got no founder's reward too.
Right, it does, yeah.
The big thing. So it's going to be basically a competitor to ZClassic, and we'll see if the differences that they've built it around are going to be enough to kind of beat the early starter advantage that ZClassic has.
My promise to our listeners is going to be that I will try to run this wallet this week and give you a report on how that experience goes next week.
Sweet. So it's out? They've done the fork?
Yes.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Oh, it's on an exchange. It's on Trade Satoshi. Okay.
We also wanted to keep on the rolling review a coin we mentioned last week, Pink Dog Coin.
Yeah, Pink Dog Coin. So I've been watching this, and I was confused by it at first because usually when I see a mining coin, the first thing I'll try and do is calculate the mining cost. And so I was looking at the difficulty for this thing. It's crazy. It's like all over the map. Like it would go from like 1 million to 30 million, back down to 1 million. And I was trying to figure out why. I first assumed that it was just people messing with the difficulty retargeting through. You can essentially mess with difficulty retargeting by spiking it, and then you'll get a lot of really fast blocks. It'll make the difficulty really high, so you'll stop mining, and then those high difficulty blocks are going to take a super long time. And then,
so people are generating more expensive coins in the meantime.
Exactly. And then when those blocks clear, the difficulty will crash, and then you can hit it again. And you keep doing this over and over again to give yourself cheaper coins and other people more expensive coins. So that's kind of what I assumed was happening with Pink Dog Coin, but the first thing I noticed is that SuprNova was getting almost all the blocks, which is normal. But when that's happening, that is useful because it tells you that there's not really anybody mining it on private stratum, which will let you get more info about the coin, basically. And so the other thing I noticed is that the hash rate wasn't really spiking. Like, these huge swings in the difficulty were happening just kind of on their own, which means it was essentially a function of the difficulty retargeting just not working right. They had it set to, the parameters are just set wrong, and it causes it to calculate. It seems like it's looking kind of too deep into the past to try and figure out what to do in the future. And then it also will only allow a very small adjustment per block. So if the block time gets way off, it takes it a really long time to compensate for that.
Okay, yeah.
The end result is that it essentially got into this weird, it was almost like an undampened spring where the magnitude of the oscillation and the difficulty would just naturally increase because of the weird parameters. And so you started out at this situation where the difficulty would fluctuate from 3 million to 5 million, and then eventually it started fluctuating from 1 million to 10 million. By the time I got around to mining it, these fluctuations had amplified themselves so much that it was like the low difficulty would be like 0.1, and the high difficulty would have been like 65 million or something.
Wow.
And so these amplitude fluctuations were getting exaggerated by people who were diff-jacking it, by putting the hash on in the low time frame.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of creating this out-of-control spiral. Well, lucky for them, the block reward cut down a huge amount at some point this week. And then the effect of people trying to do all that diff-jacking has gone away, and so it's kind of starting to stabilize. Like, the oscillations were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was getting crazier and crazier. And now it's stabilized a bit. So really, that honestly tells you basically nothing about the value of the coin or about the value or what you can expect for it in the long term. But as a miner, it's fun. It's just fun to see kind of the different ways that you can mess a coin up, or the different challenges that actually exist in tuning these parameters.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Let's take a look at some new coins this week.
Yeah, that'll do it for the rolling review.
As far as new coins go, we like to kind of break them into a few categories. Proof of work, proof of stake, re-announcements, pre-announcements, and other. And then we like to look at airdrops and ICOs.
Yep.
This week, when it came to proof of work, proof of stake coins, at the top of the list is ZcoinClassic.
Yeah, that was ZcoinClassic. This is a fork of Zcoin. Kind of a confusing post here. It looks like they just copied the Zcoin announcement.
Yeah. The one part that they don't make clear to me is whether they fixed the fatal...
the fatal flaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what's funny about this coin, right? Ethereum Classic was launched as a response to the fork that fixed the DAO. If you're coming out with Zcoin Classic right now, that implies that you're launching it as a response to the fork that fixed this horrible exploit. is the whole point just to preserve the exploited chain? Like, it's not made clear in the post by any means. But
and then we got Score.
Score coin.
Score coin, brand new coin, of course, as we're saying.
It's a partner coin to something called Trade Coin, and it's for some kind of game.
Yeah.
It's a 1% pre-mine, which is not honestly the worst thing, but There's not a lot of effort here in this post. You're not meant. I don't know if you're meant to believe that they're actually going to deliver on this game or whatever. But as far as the specs go, they're not too bad.
So you're ready to come back to this post in 3 months and see it just be like blown out with the most incredible graphics of all time?
Yeah, Zerocoin, sponsored by ESPN,
yeah,
or something like that. Yeah, no, anything can happen. But
no.
And compared to the average of coins of the last couple months, this is definitely better than the average. So maybe I'll watch it.
Up next, we're looking at BitEther Coin.
BitEther Coin. So this is an Ethereum Classic token. So I guess that's interesting.
Haven't seen too many of those yet.
Yep. But it kind of the whole idea is it's an Ethereum Classic chain that just runs on top of normal Ethereum Classic. So you can mine, if you're mining Ethereum Classic, you will be able to mine this concurrently. And so you get a reward of Ethereum Classic and BitEther Coin. That's really all it offers. And because it's structured that way, it means that there's an amount of BitEther Coin corresponding to all of the Ethereum Classic that has already been mined, which is like 90% of all that will ever exist, which means it's a 90% pre-mine essentially by default.
You're right.
So, that's probably the angle there. But
yeah, I don't really have many thoughts on that one. We're looking at also NicNac.
NicNac. Every week brings us a new crypto note coin.
Yeah, of course. The weekly crypto note coin.
I have the hardest time valuing crypto note coins. It relates to our segment earlier with cannabis industry coin.
Mm-hmm.
It applies now. It applies every week because they launch every week.
Right.
Like
there's always at least one.
Carbonic is one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
That I've had a hard time understanding or valuing. Part of the reason is I don't know where to find any of the coin info in the source code, which always annoys me, and we can't tell them apart.
No.
Funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another one this week. It's called NicNac coin.
Then there was Baked Coin.
Yeah, this is a really generic looking weed coin.
Yeah, so maybe riding on the fact that right now some weed coins are getting pumped. This guy's releasing Baked Coin.
I don't foresee it ever really stopping. There's going to be around this time of year. There's going to be weed coins.
But what's the pre-mine? That's the real question.
It's like 90%.
Oh.
It's like the whole thing. It's classic.
Yep.
Yawn. Yeah, let's see here. Pre-mine 210,000, and the average block reward is like 40.
No good.
Not a great look. All right, that's not 90% though, but more like 50% probably.
There was also Beon Push.
Beon Push. This just looks like the kind of crappy coins that we've been dealing with for the past couple months. Really nothing to like about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, especially because the thread is already locked.
But, what's interesting? This coin looks like shit, but this is one of the first coins this week that I've really just hated. I guess Baked Coin I don't really like a lot either, but they're becoming less common than at least threads that are worth looking at.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. We kind of looked through it from back to front, and it seemed like at the beginning of the week we didn't see any proof of work, proof of stake coins, and then by the time we were done filling this out, we had quite a few.
Yeah, so honestly, a kind of a good-looking week for normal coins.
There was also Argus. Big pre-mine on this one.
Yeah, this is a big pre-mine. It's confusing, but it's a high-effort post.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been seeing one or two of these a week since Pascal, and I think the angle here, or what you can expect, is that it's going to get on Coin Exchange and Cryptopia, and it's going to have a lot of fake volume, but it's going to be a high pre-mine, and it probably won't be around in a month. But they did put the effort into the post, which who knows what that means.
18 coins per block. That's not very many.
Nope. No, it's fitting. There's a pattern now. It's like a kind of a business buzzword will be the name. I don't know what Argus means, but the last one that comes to mind was Elysium, and there's another one recently that fits that mold, where they all have kind of business buzzword type names. The first post will have a lot of graphics about like fintech. We're going to be a fintech solution. But then the underlying blockchain is always going to be a high pre-mine script. And we're seeing that formula hit a lot. And then they'll do high volume for the first few days and then cool off. So that's kind of what I'm expecting on this.
Be interesting to keep an eye on. Neuron.
This one looks all right, man. Neuron. It's I don't know what Neuron has to do with blockchains, but
I don't know. I guess you could.
You gotta call it something.
Yeah,
you gotta have a name for it. You gotta name it something.
Needs a name. It needs a logo. Really good one.
You gotta have a logo.
And this one doesn't promise a ton, which isn't a bad thing, I guess.
I kind of like this. It's got it does have a pre-mine, of course, but it's small. It's only 0.8%.
That's a weird amount. We haven't seen that for a while.
Amount. It's 1,000 blocks. So let's see. What's the block time on it? It's 1,000 blocks, so it's about a day's worth of mining is the pre-mine.
Nice. That's not bad.
At this point, it's reasonable. I don't have any complaints there, honestly.
I mean, I'm going to notice the SuprNova listing.
Yeah, that's got to be the best sign for it, to be honest. It also got listed right away. Got on Coin Exchange immediately. As far as the coin itself, it's what you'd expect. It's a script coin. The description is like the description of what Bitcoin does. But as we've said before, you can't always trust the post too much at first. What you want to look at is, does it have the basics? Like, is it a functional chain? Sometimes you can try and parse whether the newbie dev is going to be worth it or not. But usually what you want to do is just look for any sign of, like, actual investment. Like, are people putting money into mining it? Are people putting money into putting bids up? Like, is there any indication that the people who are behind this coin actually have the money to fund an altcoin project?
Right.
And I've not seen it yet with Neuron. It's got a pretty low hash rate. It's got pretty slim buy support. The time frame is still too short to know if that's just just because people haven't gotten around to mining it or placing their bids or whatever. But it looks like it's probably going to be a low cap at best.
Yeah, and that's basically all of the proof of work, proof of stake coins this week. We also saw one airdrop called Renos.
Renos? I don't know.
It's a minimalistic cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And the biggest difference, of course, would be its distribution. As we mentioned, it's a partial airdrop.
Okay.
So I don't know. Honestly, it's a little bit of a complicated airdrop. I feel like there's a bunch of different ways for you to get the coins, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's more like a community distribution than an airdrop. But it's happening.
There's a few things I like. He's looking for an escrow to hold the development cost. It's a meaningful gesture. If there's many ways that it could be circumvented, but it is a step that most people wouldn't bother with. But like you said, there's a bunch of different ways to claim the airdrop. That's not something that I really like a lot, because it just makes more ways for people to game it, But
right,
like really, an ideal airdrop is just with like one claim process.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
whatever.
Decred did it the best.
Of course, they definitely set the bar.
Then we kind of moved on to the relaunch, re-ends, and pre-ends. It's crazy how many re-announcements there were this week.
So really, it's kind of an exciting week for me in new posts in a couple ways. One, like we mentioned, there are just a generally higher standard for the proof of work coins that are coming out. The second thing was the number of re-announcements and pre-announcements this week.
Right.
Back in the day, every coin was pre-announced, and you'd know what new coins were launching that day. People would line up to mine them. You could read the previews. People would actually spend time. People would put time into explaining the coins before they launched. These days, you only see pre-announcements on IPOs normally, but we're starting to see a shift back into pre-announcements for just kind of regular chains too, which is sweet.
Yeah. There was basically, first up at the top of the list, a re-announcement for a coin called PieCoin.
This is. I have a hard time calling this a re-announcement, man. This is just
What is this?
It's just a link. It's just a link to the first post of a shitty C-Cex IPO.
Yeah. So these guys, I'm not sure how you would re-announce an ICO, but there it is.
Well, apparently you just post a link.
They managed to. This one's fun too because it's kind of like a re-announcement of a coin called UBIQ, UBIQ. Except, of course, you're like, wait a minute, that's one of the biggest swaps of the year already.
Right.
Oh no, this is a different one.
It's the Yobit one.
Yeah, it's the Yobit one. Good way to put it.
Yeah. So when Jumbuck swapped to UBIQ, they either I don't know who got the name first, but there definitely was a coin called UBIQ already on Yobit when they did the announcement for the Jumbuck swap. And I don't know if they just decided it was dead, so they're just going to take the name, or they had been planning on using the name for a while. But a perhaps unintended side effect of that decision is that the Yobit coin UBIQ caught a huge, Yobit style pump essentially,
Right.
because just the attention that they can draw by co-opting the marketing essentially.
Yeah.
So this is a funny thread. The guy comes in, he's like, "We're big fans of UBIQ here, the Jumbuck swap." But it's funny to see this guy come in here and be like, "Yeah, they took the name of my coin. This is UBIQ. This is my coin." Why wouldn't you? You gotta stand up for your name of your coin, right?
There was also BTCMacroEcon. Yeah.
This is this is a funny post. This is an Ethereum token, another one, but it has a drinking game attached to it. That it's really just a tutorial on how to set up the wallet and buy the token. But you can go to the website and it'll be like, set up wallet, drink, do the next step, drink, and then it has so it's got a drinking game, but it's like an Ethereum token that otherwise is probably pointless. But
nice. They also re-announced Sprouts 2.0.
Sprouts.
This came up from not too long ago for some reason.
Yeah, the Sprouts people have been trying to make a lot of noise. Good luck to them.
Good luck on the Sprouts. And then Heisenberg Hex. This is a funny re-announcement.
Yeah, Heisenberg Hex. I remember this one.
Definitely a crypto rush coin.
Yeah, totally. It came out in the black coin frenzy era. Actually, no, I think this might have been the white coin frenzy. There was one weekend on MintPal where Asia Coin, White Coin, and Cinecoin pumped. And then it created a frenzy around all coins in general. And then Heisenberg Hex is one that launched at that time. And for no reason, it traded really high for 2 weeks or something.
Looks like they have a really complex reward structure. So I'm trying to figure out exactly where they are in the midst of it. And it looks like they're approaching the end of it.
I'm pretty sure it was a POS before. So is this a relaunch?
No,
a new chain?
No.
Is this the old chain still? So
this is just a new roadmap.
So has it been mining the whole time?
Yeah, for sure.
Whoa. Okay.
Heisenberg Hex coin. Breaking Bad's not even really popular anymore.
yeah, that's the other thing. When it came out the first time, that was when the last season of Breaking Bad was wrapping up or whatever. So whatever. Maybe they'll rename it to The Walking Dead Hex or not, whatever is popular now.
Yeah. There was a coin called OneCoin that came out this week.
OneCoin. This is funny.
At first glance, obviously, sometimes we'll talk about OneCoin and I'll say something like, I have no idea what that is. It's never came across our desk as far as a coin goes.
It's not a coin. It is. I mean, it's just an actual Ponzi scam.
But here comes something that he's taking the time to call it OneCoin and then basically going on to explain a pretty nice looking coin here.
Yeah, this is an interesting post.
We got no pre-mine.
Yep.
We got a nice slow start.
Yep.
And we got a really nice even block reward.
Exactly. So another thing, new algorithm stretches the definition of what you can call new. It's just instead of SHA 256D, which is 2 runs of the SHA 256 hash, this is SHA 256T. So that's 3 runs, which it probably means that people will have GPU miners and stuff in no time. But in the meantime, it is a slightly new algorithm.
Yeah.
It's forked off the black coin code base, one of the most common coins to fork from. Here's where it starts to get interesting, is in the way that they have set up the rewards.
For sure.
So it's like the proof of work has no pre-mine. It's got the slow start thing, and then it just has a kind of a really steady reward having every 4 years or so. But the proof of stake is also in play. It does not have any actual reward, but it claims the transaction fees. So essentially, the staking will only occur if there are transactions waiting to be sent. And the people who stake will get the transaction fees, and the people who do the proof of work will get the block rewards.
Interesting.
So that's cool. They're also kind of throwing up in the face of the scammy OneCoin that we were talking about. They're like, this is a cryptocurrency with a brave, controversial name.
Right.
Inspired by the miracle of open source cryptocurrencies, annoying Ponzi scammers, and a dose of curiosity about what will happen next. That's an interesting tagline for me.
And like so this is in our pre-announcement category because it's currently in this testnet phase.
Yeah, it's not out yet. I can't, the name OneCoin, you got to wonder what the angle really is there. Like, are they trying to drive attention away from the coin by like having people confuse it with OneCoin? Are they trying to drive attention towards the coin by using the same name? Like, I'm really curious because
why not both?
Yeah, as far as the specs go, these are awesome specs. Like, this is exactly kind of what I look for. So I'm curious to see where this one goes.
Yeah,
and it's a pre-announcement.
I bet we'll have to check that one out next week again.
Yep.
Cryptonite had a re-announcement this week.
Cryptonite, is this a crypto note coin?
Better be.
Yeah. With the name Cryptonite, it probably should be.
Yeah.
They just are re-announcing their coin.
Yep. And then Zeth. This is a pre-announcement.
Zeth, another one. This is cool. This is like the first attempt to merge the Zerocoin protocol with Ethereum chain.
Nice.
It sounds, just saying that, it sounds like something that would be incredibly challenging and prone to failure in so many ways, but I am glad that people are doing it. And I suspect if somebody actually pulls it off, you're going to be wishing that you had gotten in on it.
This one, they don't have an ICO or anything going, though, right?
No, this is literally just a post of the concept, honestly.
Yeah. Pre-announcement, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I said, I would be wary of the technology, but if it works, it's going to be sweet.
Okay.
Next up this week, we're looking at the pre-announcements section. We're looking at Visio.wtf.
Actually, this one doesn't have any info in it. Just reserved for coin info is all the thing I'm looking at says.
Bad link, huh? Oh, well. Screw it.
And then there was Cannons.
Cannons, this is a dumb post, too.
Launching someday, somehow. Oh, they've got like a list of positions available, and the only one that's not crossed out is investors.
All we need is investors. Yeah, they got it all lined up, man. They just need your money.
That's awesome. All right. Sakura. This is hilarious because I swear I mined a bunch of Sakura coin right around the time I mined a bunch of Maki coin. I am pretty sure.
Yeah, Woody was mining Japanese coins in like 2014 when he was the only one mining them, and it's pretty funny that they're.
I feel like if I dug deep enough, I could find a Sakura wallet. But it's funny to see a re-announcement of it.
All right, that does it for the pre-announcements. Next, we're going to read through the ICOs. This week in the ICO list, we had Wisdom, MyBit, M, Ethereum Movie Venture, Fee, Yutu Coin, and BTC Draft.
Indeed. Looking back through all the new coins this week.
There's a lot to talk about this week, man. It's going to be hard to keep track of all these.
Yeah, I think our rolling review is going to grow at least for a week or two here.
Yeah, we got ZcoinClassic. It's kind of interesting. I don't like the implementation, but I'll probably watch it.
Score, they're like on the edge with their 1% pre-mine. I don't know why that. I don't know what's going on there exactly.
There's really nothing good to say about Score, but for some reason I feel like tracking it. Neuron also looks interesting.
Yep.
And also OneCoin.
Oh, right. Yeah, the pre-announcements. As far OneCoin has some really great stats. If they can actually get that launched, then I might try to mine a little.
Yep, and I bet you'll be seeing Argus in the volume charts, if nothing else.
Cool.
So yeah, that'll do it for the new coins this week. Next up, we are going to jump into the mining pool listings. It doesn't take much to get a new coin onto one of these small exchanges. So just by being added to SuprNova, it kind of creates that initial boost that some of those new coins need. So
they added Neuron.
They did. They added Neuron, and they are taking down their Pascal pool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he had some beef with the Pascal coin developer over the bounties. There was a miner bounty out, and I think there was a pool bounty out too, and he gave the pool bounty to somebody else, and it's, I have no idea what side I would take on there, but it is sad to see.
Okay. As far as exchange listings go this week, we wanted to once again thank CryptoBeon on Twitter for supplying us with some nice information via @shitcoinnotify and @altcoinnotify on Twitter.
Yeah, they're really cool services that will essentially tell you immediately when coins are getting added to these exchanges. And so we really want to thank him for letting us use it. Altcoin Notify anyone can use, and I'd highly recommend subscribing to it. Shitcoin Notify, it's like a pay thing, but it's very affordable.
And so over on Cryptopia, they listed Alexandrite. That's a very new coin that we reported on first last week. Nothing on Poloniex, Victrix, or Yobit. C-Cex listing IoT.
Not to be confused with IOP.
Don't confuse them.
Do not.
Over on Nova Exchange, it's looking like Red Byte Coin's getting their chance, and NBit.
Yeah, when Red Byte Coin got added, the ticker is XRBC, and I was like, oh shit, Rayblocks.
Oh, that's so
Somebody
close.
added Rayblocks. It's not Rayblocks.
Nice try. Livecoin listed POS Wallet, Obits, and Alex.
Over on Coin Exchange IO, we had Quantum Coin, Doubloons, Scorecoin, Geert Coin, Argus, and Neuron.
Very cool.
Really light listings week. Nothing from Yobit, nothing from Bittrex, nothing from Poloniex, but
yeah, and not a lot from Cryptopia either.
So yeah, a little bit of a light week in listings. Kind of, I think Bitcoin has taken a lot of the attention this week.
Yeah, and how could it not? Hitting its all-time high. Big Papa Bitcoin.
Good old Bitcoin.
I'm excited about our new segment tonight.
All right. Yep, we got a brand new blockchain dynamics segment this week.
It's called What's the Deal?
Imagine yourself as Jerry Seinfeld saying it. The inspiration for this segment is we're looking back at the coins that came out a year ago, and we're like, what the hell happened to this coin? And the coin that we're going to cover is Elastic.
Yeah, because we've been seeing some posts about it on Twitter, and it was one where it was an ICO. We were already getting skeptical of ICOs an entire year ago when we listened to ourselves, but
there were just so goddamn many.
There was an ICO involved here. It was a little hard for me to find some of the info, but Brando tracked it down. Basically, they raised about 700 BTC for 100 million coins.
Yep.
And when we look at it right now, they are currently still in their testnet phase.
Yep.
A lot of ICO investors are looking anxious to dump. A lot of people are looking anxious to mine past the testnet.
This was a funny coin for me to see because when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, ICO that came out a year ago and they still don't have the coin out. Like, you know, those poor investors or whatever, they're probably going to get screwed. But then I now have a little bit of mixed feelings about it because I actually really liked some of the information that they have provided about the technology.
Yeah, we took a look at their website, and although a few pages basically say there's nothing here and to look back later, which isn't great, there are some pages that explain very specific things about what they're planning. They have a unique difficulty retargeting algorithm, which is kind of an interesting thing for a coin to have at this point in time.
So yeah, what's interesting about this section on the retargeting, that's cool, but what actually caught my attention was it kind of gives some hints at how the underlying network works, like how they're actually going to plan on trying to build the supercomputer or whatever. And if I'm interpreting this correctly, it could be wrong, but it seems like they've got this system where it's a mixed proof of work, proof of stake with concurrent proof of work and proof of stake. So people are going to be mining and staking at the same time.
Yeah.
The proof of stake is what's going to advance the blockchain. So the blocks will be authorized and signed and progressed by the proof of stake miners. But the actual supercomputer work is going to be done by proof of work miners who are going to be proving that they've done these calculations or whatever calculations are in the queue. And so they're going to have a system where you, as a proof of work miner, are going to be out there looking for your calculations, and then you submit them to the blockchain, and then they'll all pile up, and eventually a proof of stake block will come along and sign them, and you'll get your reward or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty interesting and kind of it felt real. Like, usually when I read these white papers for coins that are coming up, I'm like, I can't understand what you're driving at. I don't really see what the technical method you're going to reach the goal is. And so I was impressed, honestly, with those documents. But then I look at the other side of it. It's been a year.
Right.
Half of the website links are dead, don't point to anything.
Yeah, they've been through like 3 or 4 threads on Bitcoin Talk.
Exactly. The IPO pages are all taken offline. Like, all that kind of stuff is like, I want to like what they're talking about as far as the technology goes. But I'm still skeptical. And
yeah,
I think the time frame, it's going to create a funny situation when it does get listed, because it could be the perfect storm. Like, all these people who have been holding on to this thing for a year, they're going to be ready to dump, and everybody's going to know it. The market maker's going to know it. So no matter what happens when this thing gets listed, you can believe that there's either going to be a shakeout of kind of like I want to say an Ethereum style shakeout where they dump it at first and everyone gets scared and quits. There could be a weird Pascal coin thing where maybe they jump it over the ICO price, and everyone's going to be so desperate to sell that...
Pascal wasn't an ICO, though.
No, but I'm talking about it's the way for the market maker to get people to sell. And so in the case of Pascal, he just pumped the price up so high that all the Cryptopia buyers couldn't resist. I think it's more likely, it being an ICO, I think it's more likely to do what Ethereum did, where the price goes down at first a lot, people just give up. And especially because it's been so long, I think that's likely to happen in a big way. But that creates opportunity, too, if they can actually deliver on this technology, which is always a huge question mark. And they're going to be able to shake all these people out. It could be a perfect storm as far as the market goes.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Bittrex will list him, right?
Yeah, either that or it's going to get on Bittrex, go straight down forever. Yeah, so it's cool. The mix of good and bad there with Elastic. Alrighty.
We're going to try to close it up with a few coin birthdays, as we love to do.
Love them birthdays. They're piling up. We got great birthdays today.
Yeah, now we're getting thick. I mean, holy cow. Did you guys know that Dubai Coin is already a year old?
Hard to believe.
Yeah, so Dubai Coin came out on February 20th, 2016.
Congrats to them, man. Huge. We talked about it in our year-in review that Dubai Coin was the third best proof-of-work miners coin, basically, of 2016.
Yep. And it's 1 year old now, and it's still listed all over the place, trading, doing its thing.
Do what it do.
Burn Cash also came out on 2/22/2016.
Burn Cash, that's funny.
Yeah.
Another Yobit coin. This one did not quite do as well as
they didn't do very well, but since they're listed on CoinMarketCap and have a block explorer, they get a birthday. That's basically how it works.
Burn Cash might have some legs to it, man. We'll see.
There's some coins, like a counterpart to Burn Cash strong would be Trump Coin, and it originally came out this week, but it had a fork at some point that resulted in a new blockchain.
Right.
And all of our birthdays are going to go off blockchain genesises. So if you have a fork or something, then your birthday is going to be on
The fork date.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the original Trump coin chain is dead, so...
You can do CoinClassic if you want to keep that going.
Someone should. We should. Oh, man, CoinClassic.
Just launch it back up.
If you'd come up with that like 6 months ago, that would have been great. Yeah. But the chain wouldn't work. The chain was broke.
So 2-year coins, we didn't see any. And then there was 3-year coins, actually. Cypherfunks came out on 2/21/2014. Myriad came out on 2/23/2014. Bitquark on 2/22/2014, and also Blackcoin, Big Dog, on 2/24/2014.
It's pretty funny. Like we're talking about this week, how many more at least interesting announcements there are than normal, or that we've been used to.
Yeah,
and then we look at these birthdays, and we're like, holy crap! This is apparently a busy time of year for shitcoin developers.
And I guess that's how it goes. Maybe they go in some type of weird cycle.
It's that Chinese New Year.
I don't Nobody's got anything to do.
Everybody blames the Chinese New Year for like everything that happens in crypto, so I'm gonna
It's voodoo, man.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's gonna do it for another week of altcoins.
Yeah, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed the show. We had a lot of fun bringing it to you.
Somebody did win those dots, by the way.
Oh shit! Nice, congratulations.
They haven't sent us their dot address yet, but
they got the prize.
They got. They got the answer right.
The dots have been claimed. That's 20,000 sweet, sweet dots. So yeah, we are of course brought to y'all by Cryptopia. They're over at cryptopia.co.nz.
Check them out.
Yeah, you're gonna want to stop by our thread there. Say what's up. We'll throw you some dots. You're gonna want to check out the website. It's blockchaindynamics.net.
Definitely. The theme song is created by Grammatic. See you next week with Heavier Bags.
Peace.